Before we get into it, let me ask you this. When a star player keeps disappearing right when her team needs her most, is it bad luck or is it a pattern? Because right now, Angel Reese is back on that dreaded day-to-day list. And if you followed her career, you already know what that really means. Last year, it was a season-ending wrist injury. This year, a mysterious back problem that just so happens to flare up while the Chicago Sky are finding their rhythm without her. Coincidence? Or something bigger? Meanwhile, on the other side of the league, Caitlin Clark is smashing records left and right, even while nursing an actual groin injury. She's still there, still courtside, still riding for her team as the Fever push toward the playoffs. So let's ask the uncomfortable question, is Angel Reese really hurt, or is this the most predictable disappearing act in WNBA history? And it gets worse, because fans just caught her bailing on her own team at the exact moment the spotlight was brightest. Stick around, because this story goes from day to day to downright humiliating. Here's the problem with Angel Reese: it's never just an injury, it's the pattern. Vague updates, long absences, perfectly timed vanishing acts whenever Chicago is under fire. And the league has seen this movie before. Think back last season, she suddenly needed major wrist surgery. The explanation: doctors said it would prevent arthritis before she even hit her mid-20s. Sounds noble, right? But in reality, it meant her season was over. No fight to come back, no gritty finish, no push through the pain moment. Just gone. And now here we are watching the sequel nobody asked for. Another injury, this time a back issue with no clear timeline, no real specifics, just whispers. And wouldn't you know it, it pops up right in the middle of another rough stretch for the Sky. Look at the schedule, losses pile up, pressure builds, and just when the team needs a spark, poof, Reese is out, not in uniform, not on the bench, not even visible. At this point, you could set your watch by it. But here's the part that really sent fans over the edge. She didn't even bother to travel to Indianapolis. A game against Caitlin Clark and the Fever. The rivalry the league lives to hype. One of the WNBA's biggest money-printing matchups. And Angel Reese, the so-called it girl of the league, simply ducks out. And it's not just fans talking anymore. Commentators are hinting she's shutting it down for the year. Some aren't even hinting, they're straight up saying it: Angel Reese quit. Think about it. 2 seasons, 2 injuries, and both of them conveniently landing right when her game was looking shaky. Each one erasing her chance to prove she could grind through tough stretches and still be valuable to her team. Line up those timelines, and it doesn't scream bad luck. It screams pattern. And here's the kicker: the second Reese is off the floor, suddenly the Skies start to look like a team again. Not a star-driven mess, not a highlight reel waiting to fall apart, but a real functioning squad. That's when this whole situation goes from suspicious to wild. Because for 2 straight years the win-loss column tells a completely different story than the marketing posters do. Chicago actually racks up a better record without their so-called franchise cornerstone even in uniform. And this isn't some cherry-picked stat. The evidence is right there in plain sight. Take their matchup against Indiana without Caitlin Clark. Everyone thought the Fever were toast without their leader. But instead, Lexi Hull stepped up, dropped 17 points, finished with a +22, and the Fever smoked the Sky. That's the same Sky team that can't buy a win against Indiana this season. Doesn't matter if it's Hull, Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, or Katie Lou Samuelson. They all play their roles, trust the flow, and don't force the game. No one's out there jacking bad shots just to keep a brand alive. And that's the difference. Real team chemistry versus star player drama. Because when Angel Reese is sidelined, the ball suddenly moves, the floor opens up, and Chicago looks free. But here's the real question: if the Sky are better without their face of the franchise, how long before the front office admits it? Here's what happens when Angel Reese is out of the lineup. Chicago's offense finally breathes. No more standing around waiting for her to post up out of position. No more guards stuck force-feeding her touches while the shot clock bleeds out. Instead, the wing/hard, the guards run actual sets, and the shots, they come from clean looks, not last-second heaves as the buzzer screams. It's the textbook case of addition by subtraction. Take away the star and suddenly the whole squad's energy skyrockets. Even analysts are pointing it out. The spacing is better, the pace is faster, and even the bench looks more alive when Reese isn't clogging up possessions. Coaches won't say it out loud, but you can hear it between the lines. The Sky move with more urgency when every possession isn't being funneled through one ego. And that's where the whispers turn into something bigger. Maybe this is the biggest hoax in WNBA history. Because let's be real, a true star makes your team harder to beat, not easier. If sitting out suddenly turns your squad into a tougher matchup, the issue isn't the supporting cast, it's you. Now stack that against what's happening in Indiana, and the contrast couldn't be sharper. While Reese fades into another round of mystery injury updates, Caitlin Clark is literally rewriting what leadership looks like. Even with a legitimate groin injury, she's there, suited up when she can be locked in on the bench, hyping her teammates, and still taking time for fans. And the production, forget it. 16.5 points per game, nearly 9 assists, leading the entire league in assists per night. That's elite, and she's doing it while not even fully healthy. Meanwhile, Angel Reese's storyline feels like the same tired rerun. She's off the court, the Sky get better, and the PR machine kicks into overdrive, trying to sell everyone on the idea that it's just bad luck. But the numbers don't lie. Chicago's offense is smoother without her. The defense rotates quicker. The ball actually finds the open shooter instead of dying in a forced post-up. That's not coincidence. That's basketball finally working the way it's supposed to. And on the flip side, Caitlin Clark proves what a real star does. She's not padding stats, not chasing headlines, she's lifting the people around her. You can see it in her teammates. They cut harder, they run their lanes, and they trust the pass will be there. That's leadership you can't fake, especially when you're doing it through pain. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Angel Reese's absence is starting to look less like bad luck, and more like a calculated dodge. Fans have noticed, analysts have noticed, and now even players around the league are quietly saying it. She's not built for this grind. Because in the WNBA, there's nowhere to hide. The film doesn't lie. The box scores don't lie. And when your own team looks more dangerous without you, the questions get louder, and you can't dance around them forever. Last year it was wrist surgery. This year it's a mysterious back injury with no timetable. Different season, same script. But while the excuses stack up, Chicago is proving something Reese might not want to hear. They can win without her. And every game she sits out, the gap between her and Caitlin Clark only grows wider. Clark's out there grinding through pain, directing traffic, making her teammates better, doing exactly what stars are supposed to do. Reese, she's not in uniform, not on the bench, not even visibly supporting her squad. Just radio silence until the next vague update drops. At some point, that's not an injury report anymore. That's a reputation. And here's the wild part. Her legacy is slipping right through her fingers, and she might not even realize it's happening. You can only play the mystery injury card so many times before fans stop buying it. Right now, her story isn't about a rising star. It's about a player whose team finds its rhythm the second she's gone. It's about someone who trends more for off-court stunts than clutch performances when it actually matters. And in the WNBA's biggest rivalry, she's become a no-show. Every missed game against Caitlin Clark isn't just another DNP. It's a missed chance to prove she belongs in the same conversation as the league's best. Meanwhile, every time Clark suits up hurt, fills the stat sheet, and leads her squad, the gap in perception grows wider. One looks like a competitor. The other, a question mark. The WNBA moves fast. Today's it girl can be tomorrow's forgotten headline. And unless Reese gets back on the court and earns the hype, history isn't going to remember the photo ops or the swagger. It's only going to remember the disappearing acts. 2 seasons in, the pattern's impossible to miss. Angel Reese shines for the cameras, fades in the big games, and somehow vanishes whenever the spotlight burns hottest. You can call it bad timing if you want. But to everyone watching, it's starting to feel like the game itself isn't her priority. And while she's slipping, the league she claims to rep is moving forward, powered by players who show up, grind through the pain, and put winning above everything. Because in this new WNBA era, only the grinders survive. Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, Aja Wilson. These players aren't ducking the smoke, they're chasing it. And fans can see the difference. For Chicago, the numbers don't lie. The ball moves smoother, the defense tightens, and the chemistry clicks when Angel Reese is off the floor. That's not the resume of a cornerstone player. That's the profile of someone replaceable. And if Reese doesn't flip this script fast, the face of the franchise label won't just disappear, it'll turn into a punchline. Because in pro sports there's one thing you can't fake: being there when it counts. When Caitlin Clark is on the court, her assists aren't just box score padding, they're momentum-shifting plays that change games. Her injury hasn't stopped her from rewriting records. And even when she's not suiting up, she's still there, breaking down plays in timeouts, hyping her teammates, staying locked into the fight. That's commitment you can see, and her team feels every ounce of it. The Fever, they're 4-0 against Chicago this season, with or without Clark in uniform. Every matchup her leadership sets the tone, and it's not just her. Aaliyah, Boston locking down the paint like a fortress. Kelsey Mitchell, a steady, reliable scoring machine. Sophie Cunningham bringing that toughness that flips momentum. Lexi Hull delivering clutch minutes. Natasha Howard adding the veteran backbone every contender needs. This is a roster built in Clark's image: smart, connected, relentless. And Clark's been vocal. She's not just chasing one ring, she's talking about building a dynasty. And when you watch her play, you can see it. That's why ratings spike when she's on the court. She's the draw. Sports media has already pointed out the dip in viewership when Clark sits out. And in brutal contrast, nobody outside Chicago even notices when Angel Reese vanishes. Her absences don't move the needle. Clark's do. Night after night, through injuries, tough losses, and constant pressure, Clark shows up. And every time Reese disappears, it doesn't just look bad, it makes Clark's reliability shine that much brighter. And that's the difference. One player is already shaping the future of the league. The other is fading into a storyline fans have seen too many times before. Because in the WNBA's new era, swagger doesn't matter. Headlines don't matter. The only thing that counts is showing up, grinding through the pain, and proving you belong when the lights are the brightest. And right now, Caitlin Clark is doing exactly that. Angel Reese isn't. If this rivalry ever looked neck and neck in the marketing game, the reality on the hardwood has blown that illusion to pieces. While Angel Reese slips into yet another round of vague injury updates, the Indiana Fever are busy building something real, something that works. No drama about who's showing up. No guessing games about whether their star even wants to play. Just a clear plan, and it's already pushing them forward. Meanwhile, Chicago, the contrast couldn't be uglier. The Sky keep chasing their tail. Same problems, same instability, same hype campaign around a franchise player who seems to spend as much time in designer fits on the sidelines as she does in uniform. Indiana's front office isn't scrambling for patch jobs. They're stacking players who fit, building a core designed to win together for years. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark, and she's already said it herself, she's not here to chase one ring, she's here to build a dynasty. And when you look at this roster, it's not just talk. Aaliyah, Boston, a dominant post force who's only going to keep leveling up. Kelsey Mitchell, a proven scorer who forces defenses to stay honest. Veterans like Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham, the steady leaders you have to have if you want to go deep in the playoffs. And then there's Lexi Hull, doing the dirty work, hitting timely shots, making hustle plays that don't always make the highlight reel, but absolutely win games. That balance of young fire and veteran grit, that's not an accident. That's a blueprint. Clark isn't just rewriting record books with her passing. She's building a system where every skill set matters, where the pace is relentless, the execution is sharp, and the results, pure, winning basketball. Meanwhile, Chicago's wasting another season juggling chaos, vague updates, PR spin, marketing around uncertainty. While the Fever, they're stacking a foundation that looks more dangerous every single game. And here's the wild irony. Angel Reese's non-stop injury drama might actually be helping Clark, because every time Reese disappears into another round of day-to-day mystery updates, Clark's impact shines even brighter. Fans can see it, clear as day, who's really showing up, and who's just showing off. Indiana's players are contributing, they're pushing forward, they're doing it every single night. If you care about the future of the WNBA, the Fever are the squad to watch. They've got the talent, they've got the plan, and most importantly, they've got a leader who doesn't vanish when things get tough. So here's the question. Are you riding with the players who are building a legacy, or the ones clinging to a brand? Right now, Indiana's making moves, Chicago's making excuses, and the choice couldn't be more obvious. If you believe this is just another Angel Reese PR stunt, drop in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a beat. Click the video on screen, and I'll see you in the next one.